This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets! This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets!
Nick, good morning. OB, good morning. Only one more week of football, bro. It's kind of sad.
The GM news should be coming any second.
Yeah, what's the other GM's name that they brought in? Brown, and who's the other guy? You know?
New Mark Brown, and there's someone else.
Yeah. Let me see. How about this Liam Cohen crap?
Yeah, he did.
Tampa dirty.
He did Tampa really dirty, man. But whatever. It's a business, and he did the Belichick.
Well, yeah. Except he didn't even write it on the piece of paper. He just ghosted.
Remember I forget his name now. It was the center from the Dallas Mavericks that Mark Cuban was like calling him, sitting outside his house. Man, I forget.
What year?
It was like 5 years ago, man. He told Cuban he's signing, and he wouldn't answer the fucking phone. He let Cuban he ghosted Cuban bad. He was a big everything. He was from the Clippers, the Mavericks.
Oh, what's his name?
He dunked a lot.
Yeah, on Jordan.
Yeah. DeAndre.
DeAndre Jordan, yeah.
Yeah, man. He ghosted Cuban bad, bro. Like Cuban was sitting outside his house.
Yeah. Here's But June.
Don't start that shit, Petey.
He dropped. I don't know what. There's something going on with the phone.
See if we get Meek Rogers in here today.
Yeah,
He loves Aaron.
yeah. Good morning. Good morning.
But June.
Let's
Wipe
get it.
the
Let's
wipe
get it
the
going.
wipe the cold out my eye.
See who's this paging me and why. It's the man Buck from Ohio. Yo, ain't that shit crazy how Liam did
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Kevin Durant?
we were just talking about that.
June,
That shit
remember
crazy.
DeAndre Jordan wouldn't answer Cuban's call and Cuban was like outside his home
Mhm.
and DeAndre
Yes,
Jordan was like,
yes,
I think he was playing poker at his friend's house. He
yes.
wouldn't
'Cause he
answer.
went to Clippers, Clippers, right?
Yeah, to go join Kawhi.
Yeah, it's been done. It ain't right, but it's been done.
Yeah.
Hey, so now they're giving him another first timer, a chance to pick their own GM. This is crazy.
Don't you find it interesting though that the guy who's getting the most important position of communications just fucking did Tampa wrong by completely ghosting on a it's like the number one sin of communications is
Yeah,
ghost.
yeah.
And the guy who's going to be the leader of communications just ghosted his employer. All he had to do is say, like, guys, I change it. Like, I got a tough decision.
No, but you know what? I'll tell you something even more funny, Buck. Now, if Jacksonville went down on it, I mean, not to say they're gonna do it, but now if they told them that we will give you 13 million, and then they did that shit, and it came out. Now, if they said, you know what, we changed our minds, we're gonna give you $9 million a year, he got to take it. He can't go back to Tampa. I'm just saying, that's what it would be. He can't go back.
I'm rooting for him because I don't root against people. But if Trevor can't get this right with Liam, it's not going to get right. This is
That's a fact.
he's had
That's a fact.
Peterson and now Liam, so like this is it. The excuse train for Trevor's like he's still young. This is it. He's definitely had a decent situation, man.
Now, my question is, who is going to be Liam's DC?
TCs are easy to find, man.
I mean, I know they're easier to find, but who would be his DC?
Well, I mean, who'd the Niners just fire again? Who was that?
I don't know, man.
Oh, what's his
You
name? I know the defensive well, that to that point, Buckeye, though, Salah's going to be the DC because
yeah.
if Cohen gets, I think it was between Cohen and, well, it was. I thought Salah was going to get it, but now Cohen's going to get it, and Salah's going to go out to the Niners again, and he's probably going to get 3-4 million to be the defensive coordinator and still be getting paid by the Jets,
I'll be honest,
which
and I
is
said this
crazy.
yesterday. I think the Niners are in a dangerous, and I again not comparing to the Jets in a basement, but the Niners, the window is I think closed. I think that window closed. I think Salah's. It's going to be a tougher job than what Salah left in San Francisco. I think that DC job's not amazing.
I think Shanahan is running out of excuses with all his
Yeah,
firing DCs and shit, bro. What's this? His fourth or fifth DC?
June. I said this. Next year we could be looking at Shanahan and Tomlin as available head coaches. We're going to be like, God damn,
That's funny.
We're always a
That's
year off.
funny. That's funny. But you might be right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I think both those guys are probably at the last step of like, this is it.
They don't want out there welcome where they at.
I'll add another guy. What if Harbaugh goes into the playoffs again and just exits? immediately. Like, when does he become accountable?
Mm,
Love to have their problems. Good
mm,
morning, everybody.
what's up there? Hank? Mm, yeah, you're right. You're right, Buckeye. I mean, but at the same time, he's 1-2, right? Or is it one?
Who, Harbaugh? One, right?
One buddy,
Yeah, because the other dude that
Brian Billick.
yeah, Brian. I don't know what that guy did to
Oh yeah, yeah,
people,
yeah,
but he
yeah,
was
yeah.
never looked at again. He won a Super Bowl, and
Yep.
he did something wrong.
Well, he kind of rolled out too. Like he was just like, I'm over this shit. You know what I mean? Like he just was kind of even done a little bit too.
But
He's
off,
good
but
friends with
office,
Mel Kiper, I think.
but office.
By the
There's
way, good
like
morning.
Good
pieces
morning,
of
there,
junk
brother.
that get second chances, and like Brian Billick just was ostracized. Nobody ever talks about him again.
Yo,
Yeah, he was just gone, bro. Just gone like the Didn't he
Yeah,
go wind. to Minnesota?
I don't think so.
He
no,
went somewhere else, didn't
I
he?
think
Or
he
no?
went to the Giants, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure.
I know he went in the
Don't quote
booth.
me on it.
They're saying, which I don't know if anyone believes it. They're saying Tennessee may look at Travis Hunter with that one pick. That will turn the draft
Yeah,
upside down.
it would, but I don't not believe that bullshit right there. I don't believe that.
Now I know the owner of the Ravens. He's really like a long term type guy. I mean, i.e., like Pittsburgh too, right? Like I'll be honest with you. I just think Harbs and even Mike Tomlin. I mean, they're not above criticism. They're not They're above not being going moved anywhere on though, from. office. But they're exactly, Petey. It's just those two guys have really earned the right to just
Who's that?
Yeah.
we're gonna stick with Harbs until there is no Harbs. You know?
You,
Tomlin and Harbaugh.
I
Yeah,
don't
like
think
they're just
Tomlin's
not going
runways as much as
anywhere.
everybody thinks anymore, man. I don't agree with that. I think
And it
that
might not be Buckeye, but he's never had a losing season.
I know,
And
but
what
Petey,
you
that's
think?
spoken from a Jets fan. Like that's what we are clamoring for. That's not
No, the
what Steelers
fans
fans
don't
are.
want him there. I know some fans, want Tomlin gone.
Wait. Let me say this. This is something for you to think about. Never had a losing season, and at the same time, never had a number 10. I never had a top 10 draft pick.
That's even crazier.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. See, this is something people don't think about.
I'm gonna guess,
Never
and I
had a
haven't
top 10
looked. His
draft pick.
playoff record's got to be a losing record.
Of course.
Yeah, might be surprised though. Big Ben, when they had Big Ben, they won some playoff games. I think though. I think after he left, that's what made it different for Pittsburgh because that was their guy. Now they don't have a quarterback. Like
Yep.
that part of their run has come and gone, dude.
But
That's
office,
what's messing
but
up
office, he
Pittsburgh.
inherited that, so that was Tomlin's job to like
Fair enough.
develop someone because he took Bill Cowher's guy, won a Super
Very
Bowl,
true.
got credit for that, and now he's done nothing since
Well. He been in the Super Bowl twice, right? He won one and he lost one.
with Cowher's
I
team.
believe so.
Yeah, he right. I mean, but
Well, I think that was
just
the beauty. Honestly, though, he was. Look, that's where the difference has been for Mike Tomlin, especially when you go back to them hiring the minority coach, right? He was one of the guys that he was one of the only minority coaches, in my opinion, that was actually left something good. I think
mhm.
that's kind of been the difference too, right? Like at least he was left something. Like you said, Coward left him in real good. But yeah, I don't think he'll go anywhere either, buddy.
He's 8-11 in the playoffs.
I was wrong again.
You know the two minority coaches that got the bum deals, Jim Caldwell and Marvin Lewis, never got a second chance. They have winning records.
Cincinnati hung with him.
Marvin Lewis went to the playoffs. How many years straight with
Mm,
Cincinnati? Cincinnati was a
they
sit-in
loved
for
him though.
playoffs. Yeah, Never
was
got a
awesome
second
in
chance.
Baltimore too, June. I loved him when we had him as our defensive coordinator, bro. He
Man,
was
he's the truth.
awesome.
Don't
He's
forget Wilkes, 1 year in Arizona, and that was it. And then he did get the interim in Carolina,
yep.
and he actually had those guys playing hard.
He
That's why
had.
I
You're
hope
right.
he's the DC.
Listen,
He
that's
can
what I
do it.
kept saying. Keep saying if he isn't truly the DC for Aaron Glenn, our defense is gonna be better than what it ever was before. I promise you that. He's
Guys like him, dude. They play for Wilkes, man. Like
yes, yes,
Terrence, I think it was just said. They play for him, dude.
yes they do. Yes they do. That's why I say it's just the. I'm just wondering who's the OC gonna be, man. That's the only question. We we're trying to get Rizzy from the special teams coordinator from New Orleans.
You know, special teams will come down to play an important role for your team too. You know that? Like that
Absolutely.
shit's gonna
Uh,
like that's gonna help you.
Look, special teams cost us 3 games this past year.
And our guy,
Oof.
he may have been the guy that was the jinx all along. Because wasn't our guy like the special teams coach for like 3 different head coaches? We kept
Yes.
keeping
Mm-hmm.
him.
West off.
Well, I mean the guy that's there now, the
Oh
guy
yeah, boy, I can't
that boy,
stand.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why he.
but he was always retained.
Yeah, well, anytime that there's a new coaching hire, usually if anybody stays, is usually the special teams coordinator. Mike Westhoff was. How many regimes did he survive with the Jets?
Yeah, he was down in Miami. He was with the Jets, and he actually, because of health issues,
Yeah,
he had to quit Denver. But I mean, up until last year, wasn't he on a couple of spaces with us talking about his book?
yeah,
I
man.
mean,
Yeah,
because I
Westall.
was at that Buffalo. I was at that Buffalo game up in Buffalo. Leashon was probably swinging at me, but when we scored, but Morton took the kickoff and basically took it to the
Yes,
house, and we
and what
won. He says, I think he says that was his best special teams performance that he ever coached. I think he said.
to win the game in overtime. I remember that.
I'm not advocating to bring him back. Did you guys think Downing did a bad job? I didn't think he was bad, to be honest.
Play calling, no, he really wasn't.
I think it's a very limited thing you could do with Rodgers. I don't think you could do. You can't empty a play, but like Ben Johnson would never come into an Aaron Rodgers situation. It rips up 3/4 of his playbook.
I mean, honestly, if they threw away the first half of the season offensively to some degree and just ran with how it when it started to improve, he'd have something to work with. You know, just
I
he
think
might have did all.
I
I
think
mean,
he
he might be
advocated for
okay.
Tyron. Aaron was resistant to go to Olu, and that cost him.
Yeah, don't forget, guys, when our offense was good and we were scoring, I think Mark made the point at the time, like we were scoring like 26 points a game. We were playing Indianapolis and Jacksonville and a couple of those, and we were basically playing the AFC South, you know. But you know, when we started playing better teams in December and into January, the offense started stalling again.
Yeah, that Denver loss changed the season. Not that I know it would have been great, but that loss changed a lot.
That was your boy Greg DeLay.
It, yeah, yeah, it was a shot to the gut because it would have been three. We would have been 3-1 going into
Yeah.
Minnesota, in London, and then we would have been tied at the time. Even if we lost in Minnesota, we would have been tied at the time with the Bills because weren't they 3-2 at the time? because we were playing for first place at the time. We were 2-3, I think, and it was like a battle for first place. But we would have been tied. Not that it mattered. Revisionist history. But yeah, I mean, that was one of those games where I just figured, Greg the Leg would kick the field goal and we'd escape, and we didn't, and it just left a bad taste on everybody's mouth.
Where did Ulbrich go?
Ulbrich is in Atlanta.
He went back to
He's
Atlanta.
Atlanta, DC. I'm so shocked that they gave him a DC. Unfucking believable, bro.
He was the worst head coach I've ever seen. Like, he was the worst head coach I've ever seen. There was nothing that man did.
He was just standing out
It
there.
would have been. It would have been good. It would have been good if he let one of the position coaches do some of the defensive play calling, I guess, and he could have focused more on being the head coach, but he did both. Maybe it was just too much for him, but it showed how ill prepared he was. And people like me, I will admit, like 2 years ago, I was saying that he was a guy that if the team made the playoffs, he would have been a candidate for a head coaching job somewhere, but he just looked awful.
I still think Adam Gase was the worst ever.
Mm-mm.
I
No,
think
no,
you're
no,
right.
no, no. You know why I can't say he was?
Oh, Rich Cote.
No, no, no. Look, I can't even say him. It has to be Ulbrich. I'm gonna tell you why. Definitely not Gase, because Gase, no one scripted the better 15, the first 15 than Adam Gase. We could score our first
That's true.
drive,
The first
You know
drive.
who's
Yeah.
really
guaranteed touchdown.
bad, head coach? Freddie Kitchens. That was bad, man, in Cleveland. Ooh,
Oh
that was
yeah, Fred
Baker's
Kitchens
boy.
in Cleveland.
Freddie
That set
Kitchen.
that organization back.
He's never got another job since.
No, he was really bad, man. Who's the dude that was with the Raiders that he was like 2-40?
2-40.
Bro, his record was crazy. He's definitely got the worst head coaching record ever.
Josh McDaniels.
No.
Because it didn't look like they won any games with him either.
Man, hold on.
Until he, yeah.
Hugh
Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson.
Yeah, bro. Hugh Jackson's record in the NFL has got to be. I think it's crazy bad.
Because Petey, you remember back though, you even said it because you were like, when y'all had lost a couple games, y'all were still technically in second place. That was the craziest part. I don't remember what part of the seat it was early, but like Terrence said, you guys, it was wild. Even for it not being the best team, they had some chances throughout the season to keep pace. The Jets.
If I'm looking at this right, Hugh Jackson's record was 336-1.
Wow.
He was 8-8 with the Raiders.
Oh, but then he went to Cleveland. That's when Freddie Kitchens took over, right?
Yeah, but he was 336-1 with Cleveland. He won 3 games.
Yeah.
Do they just continue to pick the worst stuff ever? Do they ever pick anybody with like winning?
They're a better organization than us.
I don't know, buddy. Maybe, but not by much. If it.
Where's our Stefanski? Where's our Baker Mayfield?
He's not there
They still, given that money to the guaranteed money to Deshaun Watson will go down as the worst trade of. It basically is worse than the Aaron Rodgers trade.
Wait, look, check it out. Hugh Jackson record with the Raiders he was only 8-8.
Yeah, but look at that Cleveland record.
True, but wait, let me tell you this. Who is this? 8-28. Dennis Allen with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Oof. Now, to Baker's credit, he's had to fight through a lot of NFL to get,
get back to
he's
where
one of them guys that, yeah, man, because that's something I've always mentioned about the NFL. A few guys will jump out in front but I think the large majority of quarterbacks usually struggle. It takes a while to find your footing.
Yeah.
That's why, like you're saying, Buckeye, it's key when it comes to a quarterback because even for as good as Mayfield is, man, there's been a lot of times people wanted to oust him also. Now he
Rich
came in a
Kotite.
little spicy.
Co-
Exactly.
Kotite was 4-28.
Mm.
That's pretty
Like how
bad.
you deal with that, right? Like how the fuck do you come back from that?
Well, we had
You
Parcells
know
after
people
that.
are gonna
That's how we got
trash it.
lucky.
Oh yeah, good point.
How
But it takes that.
but look at this. When did you ever think Tampa Bay would have two offensive coordinators that became head coaches in the NFL? Because Tampa Bay has always been known for its defense.
Mm-hmm.
Even back in the '70s when they were a first franchise. I mean, Doug Williams was the quarterback, but it was always about the defense for them.
Terrence, when did we think that the Lions would be the organization that the NFL is copycatting?
I know. Ooh,
Like that
yeah,
was the biggest turnaround. Like the Lions, if there's one organization that's as pitiful as the Jets, it's the Lions.
right. It was until
Well,
yeah,
when they
Well, let's see what they do now. Losing their head. I mean, they're
yeah,
both of their coordinators. Didn't that happen to Philly a
yeah,
couple of years ago?
Sirianni. Yeah, he lost both, and then they took like a little bit of a step back, even though they made
Yeah,
the
they still
playoffs.
made it. Yep. Yeah.
That's
They'll be all right. They're gonna hire Hackett.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's a good job for
They took a major step. Matter of fact, Hurst took a major step back once he lost his
that's a
coordinator. He hasn't been the same
that's a good
since.
job for Peterson, by the way,
To go
to go
back.
to Detroit under and become the OC.
That's
Oh,
a good
Yeah,
point.
that's
yeah.
a good job for him. He can rebuild his brand because that offense is potent,
yeah,
man.
that would be a click fit for sure. That would fit.
Office just spit out a loogie. I heard it.
With the
So,
Lions,
No,
what
that
so
do we
wasn't me.
think? With the
they had to
Lions,
be
So,
what do we
heck.
think?
Had to be heck.
someone did. Heck's always blowing the nose with the old school handkerchief, right, Heck?
No, not me.
Yeah, you know what? Look for a major step back with with,
Let me
with,
ask you guys
with
then.
Detroit.
What makes Detroit Detroit? Is it the weapons that they have? I think it's the offensive
I think
line.
that dome helps too.
Yes, it's definitely the line start. It starts at the line.
Yeah, the dome.
Offensive
I
line
think
and
that dome
maybe the
helps, man. That
dome.
greatest show on turf shit is it. That dome stuff helps.
Yeah, but Buckeye, their line is really
Their
Really
good,
good.
line
man.
is the
They hit
truth,
home
bro.
runs.
Absolutely
I mean,
yes.
Panay Sewell's an absolute. He's probably a Hall of Famer, Panay Sewell.
That's where the Colts messed up and did not get their quarterback because they had a line. They had what they needed. They just never got that quarterback right.
Yep, true.
That's why I say get the right tackle, man. Get the right tackle in the draft. Don't play around with it. Get the right
Yeah, but I
tackle.
don't think it's the. I don't know if it's the right. If the guy's there, it's
No,
not at
no,
7, man.
Yeah, that's seven.
no, no. Check it out.
Man.
Because this draft is light when it comes to tackles. You got the seventh pick. Take the best tackle available because you know you're not gonna be able to get one later on that's any good because they keep saying that it's not the draft for tackles. Snatch that right tackle up or whatever whether he's the right tackle, left tackle, draft him, and then you just go ahead, man. Don't worry about the
I don't
tricks
know, June,
first.
about that.
If you
Nah.
run it back with Rodgers, do you
Uh
No,
oh.
take the?
well,
I'm
Uh
just
please,
oh.
saying, if you
heck,
do, do
heck,
you
don't
take
heck,
the
don't
tight end
stop.
from Penn State?
Lord have mercy, man. You said the wrong thing. Now the rest there, PD.
You you don't know what
You
they're going to
just said
do, June. I'm
tune
saying a
off.
scenario with if they do decide to keep him,
Oh, come
do
on.
you take the tight end?
I think it's an
What do you do?
option. Let's hear. Speaking of options, let's hear what options we have from Dom. What up, Dom?
Morning, boys.
What's
What's
up,
going
Dom?
on, Dom?
I tried to segue to you there, Dom. You heard that?
I got it, man. I got it.
I'm
Hey,
trying, bro. I need help.
yeah, June. I wanna touch on your point about at 7 taking the best tackle in a weak class. Listen, I'm not to like throw shade on you, brother. I'm speaking in a general manner. Like drafting to just fill needs and not equating in positional value is the quickest way for a GM to build a poor roster and lose his job. Especially with a class like this, where it's not top heavy, and you're not wrong. I guess everyone has their own opinions, but mine is it's comparatively to the past few years, it's not a very strong tackle class. There's a lot of guys. There's some good offensive linemen that probably translate better inside than they do at tackle, like they played in college. However,
Mm-hmm.
there are some talented guys, but I think that is the wrong idea. Listen, the Jets, and I'm also not up for this, but I'm going to say I would rather lean the Jets taking best available player because they have so many holes and so much depth that needs to be acquired in a class where the talent might not be as strong as it has been in past years, especially at the top. I think the sweet spot for this class is probably, that mid-second to late third round. I think that's where you're going to get the most value. At that thing, with that taken into consideration, I think you take the best player available, regardless of the position, and figure out and try to match needs with value in the second, third, and later rounds.
Dom, can I ask you a question that's against what you just said?
Sure.
If Milroe's sitting there in the second round, do you try or you're like, or you don't?
It's a fair question. Listen, I think here's the thing. I don't know if I try. I like Milroe. I do. I think he's right up there and probably in the argument for quarterback 3 in this class. That's not saying much. It's a very low bar set in this quarterback class. I think somebody is going to
Reach.
fall in love with the
Yep.
traits. I think somebody's going to fall in love with the traits, and there's going to be somebody who has that notion that they can fix, some of the problems that have irked him this year. I can't say for the Jets if it's the right move or it's the wrong move because you still don't know who's coming in on the offensive side of the ball. However, there will be somebody. Listen, the tradey, those high traits, low true quarterback skill guys in the past couple of drafts, whether it was Justin Fields or Anthony Richardson, they haven't panned out very well. So I think the league is trying to is going to start trending away from taking those swings early. Now the second I don't think is too early.
Do you think Bo Nix falls into that
And if he
category?
runs,
Is Bo Nix in that category or no?
no, Bo Nix is a little bit different. I had Bo Nix, graded out higher than I have Jalen Milroe graded out. Comparatively, Bo Nix is a little bit different because I think he's got more experience. He's an older quarterback. I mean, he had over 40 starts under his belt. He could throw the ball. You know what I mean? There was no questions really of if he could throw the ball. He did a lot in Oregon. He did a lot at Auburn. You could tell that he, had a foundation of being a fundamental NFL style offense quarterback. I don't know if you've seen that in Milroe yet, and I'm not saying it's all Milroe's fault. When Saban was there, they ran more of a pro style offense, and he struggled. And then DeBoer came in, and he's had a couple offensive coordinators, so on and so forth. It was more RPO based. It was more veer based. They wanted him to, take one read. He kind of locked in on one read, and if it wasn't there, he kind of, exited stage left a little too soon, in my opinion. So, there might be somebody that says, no, a little bit more coaching, we can fix him. I'm not sure. I think if he runs sub 4.4, he's going, in the top 40 picks, undoubtedly.
Yeah, fair.
And one more thing, somebody said, I don't know who it was, that said they think Detroit is in for it this year because, and I'm assuming it was because of the coaches that are all, departing. It happened to San Francisco a couple years ago, and I think they made the Super Bowl, right? When they lost Saleh and McDaniel and LaFleur and all that, you know?
I think Shanahan's a
So
better up top pause guy than
You
I think.
can't.
Yeah, it's just an
Shanahan's a better
opinion.
X and O.
But I just said this is a terrific job for Doug Peterson to be like rebuild his brand over there.
I don't think Doug Peterson needs to work. I mean, he's still getting paid. He's older.
That's fair.
You know, he might be the guy that takes a year and basks in the sunlight. Maybe gets helps in spring training with a team as a consultant, helping him install an offense, and then he goes and plays with his grandkids, something like that, and watches football from the
That's fair.
from the luxury of his own home.
Totally fair.
The one guy that I look at where it's hard to really, it's hard to understand it, especially is Justin Herbert, right? Because I feel like he was drafted to one of the better teams you could be drafted to as well, right? Like some of these other guys have definitely got bum deals and still done all right. I mean, Bo Nix, he played great, like you said, Dom. Maybe coming into the league, people had a lot of reservations about can he play quarterback, right? Like you said, he got a lot of time under his belt, and he certainly he proved a lot of people wrong. But when it comes to like Justin Herbert, that's where for me, not talking about you, but like it's hard for me with him because this dude's had really good football teams, and he hasn't made the most of that either, right? Like people expect him to go further, and going to all these other teams, these guys are going to be up against it. I think a guy like Milroe is going to need a few seasons to really see if he's good or not in the NFL, right? Like, can he survive a little bit? Like Buckeye saying, can you survive being a little less experienced? That's kind of the key.
Yeah, but Milroe's going to
But
need
Well,
time.
I would not
Sorry,
hand.
Dom.
you're
Yeah,
100%
I would not hand him the keys to the car at
Yeah.
all.
no, sir.
You know,
You're
he's
right,
gonna have to be on the Jordan Love treatment, and
100%.
the arm strength is there. I mean, he throws a really good a really good deep ball.
Mm.
Um, he's just gonna have to. He needs a couple years with a good offensive minded coach or a good QB
Yep.
coach to kind of really work
Hey,
out the kinks to see if there's going to be
hey,
anything feasible.
Dom, real quick question. Okay, let's just play hypothetical like we always do. If Mason Graham, Abdul Carter, T Mac, and Tyler Warren are all
Abdul
there,
Carter.
who you taking?
It's not.
Abdul Carter.
It's not even. It's Abdul Carter, Big Teardrop, any of the other three
Do
that
you
you
think
like.
Abdul's
Carter?
not there
It's
at
Wait,
not
do you
even a
7,
think
question.
guys.
you don't think he'll fall to 7
No,
at
No
all?
way.
No,
no.
no.
Petey, did you watch that game?
Yes.
He's a beast, man.
Abdul,
I'm one
PD,
armed.
Abdul gonna be the first defensive player off the board.
Yeah.
Well, if
Dom, do
Travis
you
is a
think
corner,
Dom?
There's
Oh,
an
Dom,
argument. There's an argument that Abdul Carter could be the first
yeah,
off the board.
Dom, do you think Will Johnson could still be in the top 10 or no?
yes, he's the first corner
I
off the
do.
board.
Because I know, wasn't he your favorite player?
No, he's not.
Wasn't he your favorite player, Dom?
He was one of them. He's my third ranked player in the class. I have him behind Carter and Hunter.
Well,
Wow.
Travis is an athlete. I wouldn't even say he's a corner or a receiver. He's just an athlete. So they're just gonna put him anywhere.
How good is Tyler Warren? I don't know too much about him. I watched him once or twice at Penn State. That's it.
He's pretty good, buddy.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
he's really good, man.
Dom,
But
when
but
is
if, but if
Dom?
everyone
When?
is
Go ahead.
if everyone wants to
He would
compare
help.
everything to Bowers,
He's
he's not Bowers.
Nah, he ain't, I
Dom,
ain't gonna say that, but the boy can play.
when is the Senior Bowl next weekend?
Yeah. No, it's this week. It starts
oh,
Monday.
So you're heading down, right?
Yeah, so the game next Saturday.
Monday morning.
Nice.
Yeah. So technically it starts Tuesday, but everyone starts getting in on Monday. It's Tuesday through
How's the
Saturday.
weather supposed to be?
Thank God.
Good.
Nice.
Enjoy.
Petey, y'all send
They got like
them people down there.
Oh my gosh.
Huh?
I said, are y'all sending people down there
Yeah, the
to the
Jets
Senior
will.
Bowl?
They'll be down there.
I'm going down. I'm going to check out because Justin Fields meeting me there, so we going to talk it over.
June, no, you going down there to see Jalen Miro. You seeing your new quarterback. Okay?
Hey,
Do you think
wait.
a team like New Orleans would try to go after Milrow too? I'm just trying to
Somebody's
picture
going to
like
take a shot on him, man.
candidates.
Of course.
Yeah,
It's gonna be the Jets, man.
Matter of fact, hey,
Mm.
Buckeye, didn't we just see? I know did we just see a report saying that? Matter of fact, office, didn't you tell me about the report that Russell Wilson is trying to re-sign with Pittsburgh? Somebody said it.
Yeah, 10-year contract.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
June,
Oh,
June,
stop. 10
Hey,
years.
June,
that wasn't
hey,
being
Pete, I'm
put
Joe,
up.
telling the truth.
Joe, if
June.
he signs it, get out of here. Enough,
But
guys. I know it's
don't
Look,
Petey,
joking, but
don't
I
now I'm
hope
entertain
he
getting
him.
does,
mad.
bro. I
Petey,
hope
don't
he
entertain
Ten
does.
him.
I
years?
hope he does.
Petey,
I
don't
hope he
entertain
does.
him.
As a Ravens fan, I hope he does, yo.
See, yeah,
Sign him
y'all
till the
entertaining
end of
bullshit.
time.
Y'all
Office,
entertaining
put your
bullshit.
seatbelt on Jets Commute, please.
They're gonna make his wife part owner.
June, I got a question. June, I have a question for you.
so,
Pat P was saying the same thing last offseason. Did he get re-signed?
yeah, I mean, no, he didn't.
Uh oh,
He didn't. He didn't. He didn't.
bro. We have a new GM. Okay, he's not taking mediocre players. He's not re-signing mediocre players.
That's why Aaron Rodgers and Devontae are taking their show right to
I
Pittsburgh.
can't see
Devontae
Pittsburgh.
will.
I can't see Pittsburgh,
Devontae will,
coach.
not Aaron.
I can't see Pittsburgh signing a 33-year-old wide receiver. I can't. They never do that. Never.
Uh,
That's true, buddy.
They
That's
never. They
true.
let all their wide receivers go and they just draft new ones. They never pay people.
If
yeah, that's true.
Devontae goes and we don't draft a wide receiver, I'm
Well,
telling you guys,
that's what I'm
say
saying.
goodbye to Wilson.
That's what I'm saying. Nah, I don't know about that, but that's what
He
I'm
ain't gonna
saying.
wanna.
That's
He's gonna
why.
get doubled
Well,
on
Hector,
every play.
that's why I want to keep Devontae. But at what price is it going to? I mean, he's the seventh highest paid wide receiver, which
No,
is
I get that, but if they double Wilson and he hasn't gotten a contract, his numbers are going to be shit.
he's still going to get
So,
1,000 yards though, easily. I don't
but a
care.
1,000 yard ain't getting you a $30 million contract.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it
Then
is.
that's crazy. I give Chase 30
We're
million.
talking here. We're talking here like a 33-year-old Devontae Adams is the only available. Will be the only receiver. It's not going to be Adams or nothing. There's going to
Right.
be other guys that
But
hit the market if they
I've
move
seen
on.
the nothing that the Jets go out and get. It's a nothing.
All right, real quick. I did this yesterday in CB space. I want to read this. So these are the highest paid wide receivers per year. Justin Jefferson, 35 million. CD Lamb, 34. AJ Brown, 32. St. Brown, 30 million. Tyreek Hill, 30 million. Now, is Garrett Wilson? I think he is better than Brandon Ayuk. Yes. 30 million for 120. Jalen Waddle, 28.25. Devontae Adams, 28 for 140. DJ Moore, 27.5 million. Cooper Cup, 26.7. Devonta Smith, 25, and Nico Collins, 24. How about DK Metcalf, 24 million? That's crazy.
And how? What do you think Wilson's going to want? Is he wants to be at the bottom of that, the middle of that, or at the top of that?
30 to
I don't.
32.
June, you
So
think?
we had just signed.
Hmm?
So we had signed Bateman off of nothing with like 15 million. You know what I'm saying? And he put up similar numbers. So like that's the the lowest end Bateman. You know what I mean? Bateman would be like your lowest end guy in that like role. So you'd be above that 100% with Garrett Wilson. I didn't mean to interrupt the other man though. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Jigga, you came up here. What up? Jigga.
June, RIB.
No, hell no. Hell
Would
I'm
no.
right here. What happened? What
Ju-
up?
What's up, Jigga? How you doing?
Cool.
Good. Just checking in, man.
Would anybody take
I
two number ones? Back to what
enjoying
June says.
Cancun.
Bruh, please, why y'all keep bringing that 2 number ones up for sauce?
For Wilson,
Oh,
What? Who's offering that? Number one.
right.
I'm saying, would you take it? It's not the offer, Petey.
It depends
It's
who it's.
would
It's
you?
probably not. No, then you're fully rebuilding. No, the Jets don't
Okay,
need to fully rebuild.
but
Sorry,
then in 2026, I got three number ones to
Wait,
offer to get me my quarterback, which we ain't never gonna get.
but
exactly.
why would you give
Wait,
up three number ones to move up?
Pete,
Fuck that.
Pete, I disagree with you, Pete.
Pete, we're gonna be in purgatory forever.
Pete, you say to trade Sauce means you're going to rebuild. So if you trade one player, that means you're rebuilding. He's not even the quarterback.
I thought he was saying trading
I
Wilson.
said Wilson.
No. But Pete assumed that
Either
it
one
was
of them.
Sauce.
No, Pete said
It
Wilson.
was Wilson.
Well, if you trade one guy, that means you're rebuilding.
Yes,
But that's your
because
best
then they don't
receiver.
have any players, June. They don't have
That's your
any
best
corners.
player. That's your best player on the whole
Listen,
team.
listen. Let me ask you a question.
The best player
What's
on the
more
whole team
important?
immediately
What
becomes the
what's
quarterback.
what's more important, a quarterback or a wide receiver?
Quarterback.
All right. So I'm not understanding this. So if that trade helps you to move up and get the quarterback that you like, you make that move 9, 10 times out of 10.
But June, who is Jalen Milroe gonna throw to if you trade him?
Okay. It's easier to sit there and snatch up a wide receiver in free agent than it is to get a quarterback. The quarterback's the hardest thing to get.
And then they're going to get number 4 from
I saw
Ohio State.
I saw something that some PFF thing like targeted the Jets getting Carlton Davis. I don't know who said that in here. Somebody said it.
You're not getting more for Garrett Wilson than they got for AJ Brown. So you drop the 2 number one thing. That's not happening. AJ Brown did not get 2 ones.
That's
What
what
did
I'm
AJ Brown
saying.
go for?
A first round pick.
Yeah, that 16 pick or something, 13 pick or something
Yeah,
like
and
that.
then
It was
didn't
a
the
first and it was a third or some shit
I
like
I,
that.
I think it was a third, first and third. Nevertheless,
Buckeye, what? I'm sorry, June. Sorry.
no, that's cool. Off. Look, what they did was they traded him. They meant it went to a 1 and a third. Why? Because they had to pay him. So the minute they did it, they paid him. Uh, Which is going to be the same situation with Garrett Wilson. Who, if someone was to trade for him, they're going to have to pay him.
Exactly. Right now. Like it's not going to be a Jamal where he's going to if you
Right.
trade after your third year, wide receivers are starting to say, "I want to be paid," or "I'm not reporting to camp."
Facts.
What's everybody's solution for how the hell we're gonna get a quarterback?
Hey, listen, heck, I'm with you, bro. You got to trade to get some assets to move up if you like. You have to do it, bro. There's no other way around it, bro. We're never gonna be a winning franchise until we get
We're
a
gonna
fucking
be a
quarterback.
middle of the pile team forever. We've missed on so many quarterbacks. I don't trust nobody in that organization to come up with a quarterback.
Facts.
Justin Fields, baby.
Yeah, like I've been saying, the Jets
But
have
he'll
to
make
get
us a middle of the pack.
but you
And
don't know
I
that.
said Willem.
Listen, we don't know that though, but the chances are, Hector, you're right. The Jets aren't going to get it right. But there's no hope until we see it in my eyes. But I'm going to continue to have optimism. Sorry. I'll be on that train this
Wait,
year.
Why can't it be us, Petey?
Why can't it be us?
By the
Petey,
way, just so you
let's
guys
say
know, I am working on trying to get to that press conference Monday. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm trying to find a way to get there.
Pete, if the Jets win 6 games next year, we're gonna be out of the quarterback race again.
Unless you trade
It's
up, which is
I
the
don't
reason
know
why I say
about that, buddy.
you
I don't
definitely
know
got to make
about
some
that.
access.
well look at right now. What team has 6 wins that has a shot at one of the top 2
None
quarterbacks?
of them.
Nobody.
None of them. We got 5 and we don't have a shot.
Buckeye, what year
How
is
y'all?
number 4 at Ohio State?
Freshman.
The Wyvers. Oh, he is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Damn.
Jeremiah's a freshman.
Also,
Two,
it's going
two,
to be a
two,
mess.
2 more years. I don't even know if he finishes at Ohio State the way the NIL and transfer portal works. Who knows?
That's true too. He's a hell of a player, though. He's going to go.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
P,
would still keep him on
Yeah.
my radar.
I got a
Yes, June.
request.
Yes.
I got inboxes saying, can we get some shirts made from the Jets Commute that say, why can't it be us?
Who?
Nah, you need something to say RIB.
You such an
I got
asshole,
boys sitting
coach.
down.
Why can't it be? Why can't it be us? No, ain't no running back. We're not doing that, bro.
Boy, June hate that saying.
I hate that shit with a passion, bro. You don't understand. I don't even look. I don't even eat ribs because of that shit. I don't want no RIB nowhere near.
Wait,
Damn.
ask the person who asked that question about the shirts. Is it a guarantee buy if I make them? Because I'll make them, but you got to
Put
buy them.
Listen,
Aaron,
wait.
Petey,
Y'all talking
Petey, you
about?
got to put Aaron Rodgers' face on it too.
Nah,
Yo,
you can't.
no,
I'm
Oh,
not doing
no.
that
how you
shit and
doing?
getting in trouble.
Y'all
Just be
saying
Jets Commute
y'all
rib, and then
y'all
show a
Hey,
saying
you
running
got
picture
back
of
on
rib.
Aaron.
Rib. Stop
Hey,
y'all
Y'all
got
saying
Jets
running
yo,
back
Rib.
on
You
TV.
Aaron
goddamn
Rodgers.
right.
Why can't we win? Oh, these Jets.
June, you hear it?
Y'all trying to run it back on Aaron Rodgers?
no, no, no,
Yo,
no, no, no. Wait, no,
coach,
no,
you
no,
playing that
no,
music,
Petey,
coach?
no.
Petey is.
Yeah,
Petey
I
want to run
hear
it
it.
back
Oh, I
with
hear it. Anybody
I
remember
mean,
the Predator
it's
when
not.
they in the
I'm gonna say
movie when
it's
he's
not.
in the woods? He's like, "You see it? Yeah, I see it."
what'd you say, Jigga?
Anybody? Nobody
I wouldn't
remembers that
say.
movie? My bad.
I wouldn't say it's like a far fetched idea because honestly, that was year one with Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? That was only year one. And yes, he deserved a lot of blame of what happened, but it was also that's like first year. I don't know about y'all head coaching situation. I don't pay too much attention, or the offensive coordinator. I don't pay too much attention. But when you watching y'all have a good amount of talent out there. So y'all it's not like y'all the Titans. Y'all have a great. I like y'all defense. Y'all defense is aggressive. They play hard. They play tough. I just think that some of the things that happened with Rodgers this year, he's so used to receivers, used to his throwing timing, where they do them little. He tried to do the same thing with Garrett Wilson. He did with Devontae, timing throws, and he's old. He has to complete those timing throws, and if they don't complete them, it messes up, the drive and the execution of the plays. But from outside looking in, y'all not in my eyes. In my eyes, I'm gonna say that y'all not far off of getting to the playoffs. That's
Very
just
far.
me.
Super far. Yeah, see that?
Sure about their defense?
I will listen here. I'm I'm just a asking. Vikings. Listen here. I'm a Vikings fan, right? I think. Wait, did y'all sign Aaron Glenn, right?
Yep.
So that's probably the perfect defense for him because he plays fairly aggressive. I just think y'all gonna need like an edge rusher. An edge rusher could help that defense out tremendously. Maybe another linebacker, like a cover linebacker. But as far as the DBs, if y'all could keep that bunch together and probably add another corner or a safety to help out on the back end, y'all should be all right.
Jigga,
The problem
we
is, the problem is, can y'all offense average 25 per game or at least 21 per game?
Jigga, we need another starting corner. We need two safeties.
God,
We need two
Jesus.
linebackers. We need two defensive Bro, our defense
But
is decimated right now.
I just figured it out.
We don't have no money.
Aaron
what
Rodgers is like
what was
Petey's
y'all
Jada.
what was y'all defensive rank this year?
What was the defensive rank this year, P?
Not good enough.
No, I'm
Hold
saying
on.
like what
I'm looking
like what
at.
was it?
Well, according to this, hold on, 1 second.
No,
Good morning, how you doing?
it's three different categories, four different categories. So you got
Where
the
the hell did
points,
I have it?
yards,
Uh, yeah. I don't have it. Uh,
DVOA.
yeah. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to.
I'm patient. I got time. Yeah, I'm patient. I'm at work. I'm in New Orleans. It's the first time we ever had snow like this, so we chilling right now. So we have to run these cars.
Damn, you in New Orleans, bro?
Yeah, yeah. I'm from New Orleans
Oh, and you like? How the hell did you like the Vikings growing up?
NOLA.
because I ain't wear paper bags over my head,
Oh
and I
yeah,
like Randy Moss.
Neola.
Uh, June. So I don't have the numbers, but I read off the thing. Week 6 through
Come on,
18
Ike.
without Salah, the Jets were ranked 28th in points allowed, 18th in total yards per game, sacks tied for 25th, quarterback pressure percentage 8th, 36.6, which is shocking, completion percentage 13th, and passer rating allowed 20th. Under Salah, points per game 5th, total yards per game 2nd, sacks 4th, quarterback pressure 5th, completion percentage 3rd, 59%. Wow. Passer rating allowed 74th compared to
Okay.
20th.
Right, the tale of two halves. Nevertheless, more than half them people are not coming back on the defense. So now you gotta build the defense all over again, and with no money. So,
Yeah,
like
but the
Buckeye said,
cap's
we need
going up.
God.
So the cap's going up probably like 15 to 20 million. So that adds another 20. So
Okay,
that's 40. So if you
okay,
get rid of Devontae, just say you get rid of Devontae, which I don't want, but you got to redo his deal anyway, then
yeah.
that's 70 million right there for without even cutting Lazard.
Wait. It's still dead cap money from cutting. From,
Yes, they eat
okay.
$8 million. I'm looking at it. They saved almost 30 million. So the 30 million comes off the books. Adams is going to get a new deal regardless, June. He barely has any guaranteed money. They NFL players want the money up front.
He's
Wait,
not going to get $30 million
No,
anymore.
he's not. I agree.
wait. So wait. You're counting if we bring him back and then renegotiate his contract.
Well, if not, I'm saying if they don't, but they're going to have to renegotiate anyway with him because he has no guaranteed money really. His cap
I'll say
number.
this:
Go
if
ahead.
you run it back with Aaron and Devontae, I'm with June. You trade Garrett right now.
You got to, bro.
You
You
trade
have
Garrett
you
right
have
now because
to, man. Like you can't do
I
it.
promise he will not do this again.
He's
Like
not
that's
gonna
just
do it, bro. He's
yeah.
not.
Mm.
Like, look, we've been talking about this shit since before it actually started the rumblings, because we see it. We see it on the field. Him showing up. Rogers throwing his hands like get the fuck out my face. He scored a touchdown. Rogers come on. He like get the fuck out my face. So now you're gonna bring him back, and you know that all he want to do is just shine with his boy. Come on, man.
Yeah,
like
this
like
is
like
uh,
we're Jet fans, man. Like you cannot be to the point where you don't see what's going on.
yeah.
Facts.
This is
I mean,
this is
but all right. So
Wait,
what quarterbacks?
Jigga,
All right.
one
So if y'all
second.
don't,
I
okay,
want to
okay.
read something a reporter just said. Zach Rosenblatt, something to think about jet-wise. The Buccaneers become an immediate competition for offensive coordinator. Tampa has a better quarterback in place, Baker Mayfield, and their last two OCs quickly became head coaches. Jets are expected to pursue Nick Haley from the Rams. Curious to see if Tampa pursues him too. Something interesting.
Yeah, the
Jets are
Lions
gonna
are the Lions are a better position too for an OC.
correct.
Hmm.
But does he fit that motto?
Winning.
Right. I'm just saying, does he fit? Of course.
No,
But is it the right fit for him? You
at
know
the
what I'm
end of
saying?
If you're an OC, PD, and your aspirations to be a head coach, you want to go to the Lions, Tampa, or the Jets. The Jets are last
The
place.
Jets are, yes. But it depends how much the Jets are paying too.
no 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 no
And I
no
don't
no
want to
no
hear about the tax shit.
no. You need to hear about the tax shit, because guess what? That owner in Jacksonville just gave a first time head coach matching the same deal that Ben Johnson has got for 13 million, and you
Well,
think
it's not official yet, but
it
okay.
will be, but that's cool. But you think he's not going to pay another $4 million to get the best choice at OC?
I'm
I
not
don't think
saying
Woody
he's
ever
not
would
gonna,
have paid.
June.
I don't think Woody ever would have paid Ben
He's
more than
not doing that.
that's the
I wonder
problem.
I
what
told
Woody
you,
paid Aaron Glenn. He
$8
hadn't
million
paid.
dollars. I
Yeah,
bet you. I
that's what
bet you
I
when it
think
drop,
too.
it's gonna be 8. He doesn't do that, yo. He doesn't pay for coaches. Yo, I go off what history is with people. If you're not known for doing it, I'm not gonna think that you're gonna do it. Doesn't make any sense.
It just So wait, so did y'all get the defensive rank?
I don't want the defensive coach.
I mean, they were giving up 313
Oh,
yards average on defense.
defensive ranking. My bad.
It's
Sorry,
hard
Jiggy.
for it to have a specific singular ranking
You,
because
you,
of
you,
the, like you said, Petey. It's
you know, the
hard to give it
solid
a
defensive
rank.
stats, a couple things, and we talked about this yesterday. Not only did he have an easier schedule in the beginning, he also had Jermaine Johnson.
Right. Neil, what's up, Neil?
Good morning, boys. Happy Friday. Another week closer to retirement.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday, brother.
No, I was wondering. So, like, I read some stuff around. I guess a lot of the candidates that were interviewed by the Jets seem reluctant to accept Aaron Rodgers coming back,
Mm-hmm.
and what it's going to create an interesting, I think, showdown early for Aaron Glenn, and what I mean by that is because I do think Garrett Wilson's going to be upset if Rodgers and
Yes.
Devontae come back. I don't think there's going to be any surprises, and if the Jets have realized anything in the last year, they practically forced Hassan Reddick, and
Mm-hmm.
they got a guy that was unmotivated and didn't show a lot of effort, like like when Mike McDaniel took over the Dolphins, he was buddies with all the players, and it's still to this day. And I think it's one of the biggest problems with the way our franchise is run. He I guess immediately acquiesced and said, yeah, Tyreek Hill, you're gonna have more power probably in the locker room than I do. It's going to be interesting to see if Aaron Glenn early in his tenure is put in a position where he's got an unhappy Garrett Wilson and how he handles that. It's not an enviable position to be in, but I do think that at least Aaron Glenn, being a former player, will know how to handle it. But for me, it's like, do I really risk losing Garrett Wilson to bring Aaron Rodgers back, knowing that it's a band-aid on a bullet hole at the quarterback position?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that's good business, and
I agree,
you know,
Neil.
and I think he's a competent. Like, look, I think Aaron Rodgers, like, as much as everyone wants to say it was a disaster, and it didn't pan out to the Super Bowl expectations, like Aaron Rodgers obviously had lost some of his mobility, but his arm was there, and it was his first year coming off of Achilles in a on a new team that had some warts that he probably wasn't accustomed to, especially on the coaching side. Like, I could see
Correct.
why. I could see why Aaron Rodgers would be, for a new first-time head coach, an attractive bridge quarterback, because we all know this. They can sign him to a 50-year deal. If you don't win quickly and you're a new head coach, like, that clock, that hourglass is flipped upside down,
Mm-hmm.
and the white powder is coming through. Like, you got to get wins, yet set yourself up for the best, future position, and that's a fine line to walk, especially when you're a first time coach. So, like, it sucks that, like, I feel like he could potentially be put into something like this that early, but with that said, this is a very good opportunity for Aaron Glenn to establish himself as the authority, not let any players be bigger than the logo. And, I'm interested to see how it plays out, because as good as Garrett Wilson is, as good as Tyreek Hill is in Miami, no player is bigger than the organization. And when you start giving players that power, you're not going to be contending.
Nope. 100%.
Good point.
Because one becomes greater than the sum. You have a great
Yeah.
point there, right?
I
Yep.
understand, but what if what why but why
Unless you're
can't
Mahomes.
nobody give Rodgers the benefit of the doubt? Maybe he changes.
Oh
Well,
Maybe
my.
why,
he
Yo, wait,
does.
wait,
why
wait,
can't
wait,
it be
wait, wait,
us?
wait, wait, wait.
Hell
20.
yeah,
How
Petey,
many
way to be
years have you been in the
optimistic.
league? And now he's going to check? Bro.
I'm just saying.
I figured this out, June.
Oh my
Aaron
God.
Rodgers is Jada Pinkett and Petey's Will Smith. That's what this
Nah.
is.
Yeah, but
Uh,
to be fair, Jada Pickett, back in the day was smoking, man.
She's smoking now,
Yeah.
but it's everything else that you gotta
yo,
like.
yo, Petey gonna smack Neil for saying that about
No, I'm not.
like
That
Chris Rock. You,
yeah,
you talk about Aaron Rodgers, you gonna smack him.
nah,
Please
man.
stop.
If Rodgers goes, he goes. I'm just saying, like, I don't think he's as bad as an option as people think. I'm
Bro,
sorry.
listen, to sit there and risk losing who you call a cornerstone on his team for
Mm.
1 year of Aaron
June, you don't
Rodgers,
want him
is it worth it?
anyway. June, you don't want him here anyway.
But there's a reason why, because we got so many holes. I think we could plug holes by draft capital, and that's fine. That's cool. But even if I do want him, you can't have him bring him back and just keep that. You want everything, And
This is
everything
the
we just had
June.
everything last year that didn't work.
June, this is the entanglement.
All right,
Well, look,
June, I
guys.
give you a first and a third.
No,
Forget.
no, thanks.
You
I,
got that.
Wait,
I,
Neil, one
You
sec,
got it.
guys.
oh, sorry, sorry.
In a couple of minutes, Jeremy Reisman from the Detroit Lions beat will join us to talk Aaron Glenn. So we'll talk about. He was on the Jet Lounge the other night too. That was a great space,
Oh,
by the
cool,
way. But we'll
Yes.
get
cool.
somebody who
Shout
worked
out to Shaq,
closely
Justin, King.
towards who
But
worked closely toward
yeah,
with
PD.
Glenn. Go ahead.
PDD, but like I personally wouldn't bring Rodgers back. But to your defense, like when your team is going to what I call like a dead end season, when you just know they're a 4 or 5 win team. Like, look, I had to get prescribed Zoloft when the Dolphins went 1-15. I was so damn depressed. So like, it's one of those things that when you're heading to a dead end season, it's miserable. Like 1 year, it seems like it's a short term in the general landscape of being a fan, but when you have to go through it every week and just know your team's going to get their skull beat in, it's a shitty
Oh, I
feeling.
know,
But like,
Neil. I went
but
through
like
it.
I but we both are franchises. Like the Dolphins have effed up the tank multiple times, and like it's the difference of having Joe Burrow right now. It's the difference of having Andrew Luck instead of getting Ryan Tannehill. And like those hollow wins, I like they made me feel good at the time, but then I look back and play Monday morning quarterback,
Thank
and
you.
I'm like, could you imagine what
Thank you,
would be or
Neil.
how different my life would be
Yes, Neil,
if
but
it was Joe
Thank
Neil,
you,
to
Burrow?
be
Neil.
fair,
It's like
Neil,
to
you
be
get it,
fair, and then
Neil.
I got Jeremy in here. Neil, to be fair on that, real quick. Look, the Jets had the choice of Sam Darnold. Uh, thank God they didn't take Josh Rosen, and Josh Allen was there, and they chose Sam Darnold. They made the wrong pick. You
But
Petey,
know?
you
and
can get
environment
they
Sam back
had the
matters.
though.
opportunity to make the pick though.
Yes, they
Put
did,
yourself
and
in
they
position
blew
to
it.
make the pick.
All right.
PD, Josh Allen aside, though, and I know Jeremy's here. Josh Allen aside, Sam may have been the right pick. We had no coaching and
Right,
no,
that's a
not like
fact.
we had no
Okay,
foundation
that's
to make
fair.
that kid.
Environment
June, y'all
matters.
can get him
Environment
back though.
matters.
All right,
You see
He
guys.
was a
something.
dead
All
man
right.
walking, but
Uh, let me get to Jeremy. Jeremy Reisman from Detroit Beat joins us. Jeremy, good morning. How are you, man? Thanks for joining.
No problem. Morning, fellas. How we all doing?
Good
Good,
morning,
good.
brother.
Good stuff the other night, Jeremy. I got June up here with me. We've been doing this for a couple of years now in the morning here. Jeremy, thanks again for giving the fans time. Jeremy, give me your first of all, how long have you been with the Lions beat? And how long have you been around Aaron Glenn?
Yeah, I am a Detroit Lions fan to be absolutely clear. So take the rest of what I say with a grain of salt, at least when it comes to my objectivity when it comes to the Lions. Yeah, I was a season ticket holder as a kid, or as growing up, and started writing about the Lions in 2008. Took over Pride of Detroit in 2015, and have been a credentialed beat writer since 2018. So been covering the team on a day-to-day basis inside the facility since then. So I was around Aaron Glenn for all 4 years that he was in Detroit, and really one of the more fascinating guys that's walked through those doors. There's not a lot of guys that I have seen through that Lions organization over the past 7 years more respected by his players, his fellow coaches, and the media itself. He's a guy that carries himself very, very confidently, and you tend to listen and pay attention to people like that.
Yeah, Jeremy, real quick before we get into Aaron Glenn, how frustrating was it to have a quarterback, in my opinion, a Hall of Fame quarterback in Stafford,
Yeah,
light it up and just you guys couldn't get over the hump? Give me your
it
thoughts
was
on that.
it was extremely frustrating. I've always been a big Matthew Stafford supporter. He kind of got a little bit of a bad rap here in Detroit during his 12 years here,
Hmm.
because he didn't win the big.
Oh no, did we lose him?
Outside looking in,
All
that
right.
that they just never had a team around him. Nope.
Oh,
Sorry,
they
I got
lost.
a phone call in the middle of that. Can you
All
still
right.
hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Yeah, he got a bad rap in Detroit just because they never won a big game, never won a playoff game while I was there. But I think anyone that could look at that objectively, the Lions just did not have a team around him at any point. Maybe 1 year in 2014 where they had an early exit against the Cowboys, but yeah, it was definitely frustrating. I didn't have a problem with him asking to leave when he did because he had served 12 years in Detroit and mostly thankless years in Detroit.
Hmm.
Plus, I would say by leaving amicably, unlike let's say Aaron Rodgers from the Packers. The Lions got a bounty of draft picks for him leaving that helped kind of set in motion where the Lions are today. So I've always had good thoughts about Matthew Stafford. I was rooting for him to win the Super Bowl the first year that he did with the Rams. Now he's become more and more of an enemy here in Detroit because he called Kirby Joseph dirty, and I think we're like, okay, you got your Super Bowl, Stafford. Now it's the Lions' turn. But I respect the guy. I'm with you. I think he's going to be at least in the discussion in the Hall of Fame. And I try to enjoy the 12 years he had here because he made some incredible plays while he was here.
Yeah, Jeremy. So a little humorous question: did Aaron Glenn ever point out that you were late to one of his press conferences? Because I saw that.
No, I don't show up late, but
I
but he
saw that.
would.
I like
He
he
would. Yeah.
literally he called people out, and I was like, oh crap. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, he does that. He can be a little bit snippy with the media. I kind of told this story on the show on Wednesday. If he can kind of like sense weakness sometimes, it feels like, or sense if you're not confident in your question. The story I tell is that one time I asked him after a game, like, you guys played a higher percentage of man than you guys normally do. Is that something that you guys plan on doing moving forward, or is that just game plan specific? He's like, how do you know we played more man? How do you know that? And I'm like, well, there's statistics. He's like, oh, the statistics tell you that. And like that was it. Like he didn't really answer my question. He just kind of he'll check you every now and then just to see how you react, I think. And it's not really, I didn't feel like it was an insulting way or anything like that. He's just a guy that doesn't really like to give out specifics like that in general. And so I'm very curious how he's going to respond to the New York media. I mean, the man has an incredible amount of quiet confidence, so I don't have any doubt that he'll be able to carry himself okay. But you hear stories about the New York media and how certain coaches respond to it, and that's the kind of like little battle that I'm just kind of interested to watch. And I'm really interested to see how that introductory press conference goes on Monday. I'm excited to see it, honestly.
Yeah, Jeremy. Before I get June in here, we Jeff fans, we go at it a lot, because
Yeah.
some Jeff fans, like are saying, oh, Detroit's defense wasn't that good. But tell
Yeah.
me some of the players that you think Aaron Glenn that just turned nobodies into good players, or had good seasons because of Glenn. If you could.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, when you look at Aaron Glenn and his influence, you have to go to the secondary, right? He's a former cornerback, it's still a position that he has a tremendous respect for, something that he pays close attention to, and the Lions have positional coaches and he lets them do the job, but it's hard to not to say that his hands are all over the secondary. So Kirby Joseph, interception leader this year, third round pick. Terrion Arnold didn't have the greatest rookie season, but I think he got better and better as the season comes on. Carlton Davis, the Lions traded for him this offseason. He became their number one corner and was really, really good until he broke his jaw in November. Brian Branch, second round pick, another guy who has had to move from corner to nickel to safety. And you have to imagine Aaron Glenn has had his hands all over that. And so I think the Lions secondary, if you look at where it was in year one of that defense to where it is now, Aaron Glenn's hands are all over it. And yes, that involved a lot of investment from the front office and getting the right players there. But to see a guy like Kirby Joseph, who didn't have a ton of experience at the safety position, become one of the best safeties in the league. When you expand it to other positions, Aleem McNeil, another third round pick that became one of the best defensive tackles in the league. The linebacking core, one of the bigger stories of Hard Knocks, Malcolm Rodriguez, a sixth round pick, became a really good pick, really good player. And so you see guys, drafted from first round to seventh round, make an impact on this defense. And I think Aaron Glenn had a big part in all that.
June, you got anything?
Yes, sir. Thanks for joining us, Jeremy. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, of course.
Knowing what I've heard from people around Aaron Glenn, and you knowing him,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing what what surrounds Aaron Rodgers, give me your best opinion. Do you think he will keep Aaron Rodgers, knowing what happens?
Well, this is the part where I'm glad that I told you guys that I'm a Lions fan, because I don't think too highly of Aaron Rodgers, if I'm going to be completely honest. As a player, he was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much this past year. I'm sure there are extenuating circumstances about that you guys probably know better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Culturally is where I'm curious about how this goes, because I don't know. Aaron Rodgers to me seems like a guy who feels like he needs to feel like he's in power, like he's in control of everything. And I don't see that flying with Aaron Glenn. And you never know how two people are going to react when they're in the same room. You can guess your best, but I see that being as a little bit of a culture clash. I think Aaron Glenn is a coach that, I mean, the players constantly refer to him as like an uncle, as a guy who they feel like is part of their family, but can joke around, can be really strict, can kind of do it all and relate to players in any way they want. If you have an ego like Aaron Rodgers, again, my opinion of who he is, I don't know if that's going to fly. I really don't. And I don't know the specifics about the cap space and all that sort of stuff, and what the plan would be at quarterback after that. But if Aaron Glenn doesn't think he's a culture fit, and I can see that being a clash, then I think maybe the best idea would be to move on and start over. And I think that's part of the appeal of hiring someone like Aaron Glenn, is kind of start over culturally, to build that new identity, and that might mean starting over anew at the most important position.
Thanks, Jeremy. Sorry, Petey.
It's all right. Jeremy, just to give you a little background of June and I, June wants to completely gut the roster. I'm in favor of keeping most of the team intact. I know the Jets are at a crossroad,
The whole
but I
Why
want
can't it be?
Aaron
Why can't it
Rodgers
be us?
back. Yeah, I listen. The Jets are like Detroit, Jeremy, in a way, with the history. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to knock you, but
No,
it's
I'm well aware.
it's been bad, man. So like. I just think the Jets are in a tough place, and I think Aaron Rodgers gives them the best chance to win. Money wise, no, they have to do something with that, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
talking
but
to you, Joan. Quit putting your thumbs down.
that's I mean, that's the thing though. If you want to compare it to the Lions situation, and I think a lot of people are, because Dan Campbell kind of was that cultural guy that started from the ground up. That's what it required. It did require a start over with the roster, starting over with a quarterback, all that sort of things. And so if that's what the Jets are looking to do, and it would make sense at least from a culture standpoint to do it, then Aaron Glenn is the right guy to do that. It's just it's a matter of, I guess, opinion, and obviously the general manager hire is a big key in all of this, where they see the vision of this future, but. I don't know. To me, if you're hiring Aaron Glenn, that might signal like we got to restart this over from the ground floor.
Mm-hmm. I
Fair
like what you're
enough.
saying, Jeremy. I love what you're saying. That last
Yeah,
point.
you're making June
Yeah.
smile here, Jeremy.
I don't know. I know you can't see it, but I hope you can hear it. I'm smiling right now. But real quick question, Jeremy. Now,
Yeah,
as far as GM, because it looks like he's gonna get his pick at GM. Who do you
yeah.
think he will bring in minus Newmark? Who else do you think he's connected to that he might bring in?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm not sure I have any names for you. I will say I've had a couple conversations over the past 24 hours that makes me think maybe the Lance Newmark thing isn't happening, and maybe Aaron Glenn has a little bit to do with that, which is surprising to me, because I've had a lot of respect for what Newmark did in 26-ish years in Detroit. He's seen the good, he's seen the bad. And obviously he went over to Washington, and now Washington's in the conference championship game. So I'm interested to see what happened there. I was kind of with what I thought most Jets fans were probably thinking too, that it almost felt like that was going to be a package deal. Now I have my doubts about that, and I'll be honest, I don't have a good sense of where the Jets go from now. If the Lions were, if they were going to pluck from the Lions organization, they have an assistant GM who's kind of on the rise named Ray Agnew. He's been with Brad Holmes, with Lions' current GM, all the way back from their days in Los Angeles. He started on the pro personnel side of things, but now he's in the mix for the college personnel as well. I know the Lions think very, very highly of him. He's still pretty young to all of this, so it would be kind of one of those first-time GMs taking a little bit of risks here. But I know for certain that he's very well regarded in the Lions facility right now, and I would imagine that Aaron Glenn knows him relatively well as well.
And it's funny too because Agnew's son is part of our scouting department too.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it would be nice.
All right,
Yes.
June. Let me. You got anything else? Because I got one. I want to jump back in, but go ahead, June.
No. Go ahead.
All right, Jeremy. So I don't know how close you get, to when they're practicing or whatever. But have you seen Glenn like disciplining people? And obviously, he's got a chip on his shoulder. Most defensive backs do, as players. But what's his like? Have you seen him go off on people?
Yeah, I mean a little bit. If we're talking about practice at the Lions facility, as the defensive coordinator, he was very much kind of hands-offish, letting his positional coaches do what they do and just kind of wandering and, obviously offering his thoughts when he gets in there. But, when it came to like the scrimmage parts, the 11-on-11s, things like that, like, yeah, he's barking on the sidelines for sure and getting in players' face that, when they're coming off and things like that. But he's very much the type that will get in your face a little bit, but then like have his arm around you for the rest of the game. He can ride both ends of that spectrum where, like I said, he has an uncle type relationship with a lot of his players in a way that they respect him. They trust him. And I mean, just the ability to relate to players, both from a like cult, like he looks, he's an older guy, but he carries himself like a younger guy. And knowing what those players are going through as a former player, I think carries a lot of weight. So in short, yes, he can ream into a player. He's not afraid to do that. But he's just, I think, as skilled at relating to them on a human level that is going to garner a lot of respect across that entire locker room.
Go ahead.
Jeremy, I got a hypothetical situation for you. Maybe you could tell me if this situation was to ever occur, what would Aaron do? Let's say we had a defensive back on our team who didn't like to tackle, wouldn't tackle, and got called for a lot of penalties and state associate.
That is
It's
Jeremy.
hypothetical, Pete. It's
No,
hypothetical.
Jeremy, I'm interrupting. That would be Sauce Gardner.
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
wait. Look, I ain't say no names. I'm just hypothetically. He's always making commercials and well, you know what I'm saying. And say he wasn't giving his all. And Aaron tried to discipline him, get him to play, but he just won't do it. Would Aaron Glenn hesitate to get him out of New York?
This is the most leading the witness shit I've ever fucking heard.
Wait, I object, please.
Overruled. We're fine here.
Thank you.
Wow, Jeremy, what a nice overruled.
No.
Yeah, I love it. I love
Keep it going, Jeremy. Let's go. I don't know you, man, but
let's
go.
Well, I think this is a really important question to ask, honestly, because I will tell you, the Lions, they will not draft a guy who can't tackle as a corner. That is one of the most important things in the Lions defense over the past 4 years. And in football, like if you are going to have this aggressive physical mentality, that expands to your 6-foot corners, whether they like it or not. And so, listen, I don't know if they'd cut the guy. I don't know if they'd trade the guy, but he's definitely going to get in his head about tackling. Like there is absolutely no question about it. And if he doesn't listen, the Lions, listen, they started a 6th-round linebacker over some, 1st and 2nd round picks before. They're not afraid to play the guy who is listening to them and following what they want to do. And so could they bench him to try to send a message? Yeah, absolutely. I think they could and maybe will if Sauce doesn't get on board. But tackling is an absolute necessity that Aaron Glenn is not going to, if you're not doing it, he is not going to allow that to continue. You're going to have to be physical on the edges there.
I'll rest my case. No further questions, Jeremy.
Jersey Jack, go ahead.
What's going on, Jeremy? I just had a question. I'm just curious on the Lions front. This might be a little on the Lions. But I'm just curious, are they expecting any staff members for the offense to be leaving, whether it's with Ben Johnson or with Aaron Glenn?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is an expectation anytime you lose a coordinator to lose maybe one or two guys on that side of the ball. The Lions actually already lost a defensive line coach to the Patriots of all teams. They've already filled that position, but yeah, I mean, if you're trying to like think of maybe some positional coaches that might follow Glenn. One guy that has been very, very popular in Detroit has been their linebacker coach, Kelvin Shepard, a former player. Still pretty young in his coaching career, so I'm not sure if the Lions are ready to give him the defensive coordinator position in Detroit. But he is another guy that is just an incredible leader of men. Just really good in front of the mic too. He's a guy that can lead. He's a guy that can inspire. And the Lions linebacking core has probably been the strongest unit of the defense over the past 3 years. So he's a guy that I would think on defense could go over with Glenn. Glenn has even said, he's been trying to mentor him to be a defensive coordinator position. He sees defense the exact same way Aaron Glenn does. So I think he'd be a natural fit in New York with Aaron Glenn if he decides to take that jump. On the offensive side of the ball, a lot of people are circling Mark Brunell, the quarterback's coach here, as a guy that might jump. Tanner Engstrand, to me, is probably the most likely candidate to take the Lions offensive coordinator spot. Other than that, you hear Hank Fraley as well, the Lions offensive line coach. Y'all know how good the Lions offensive line is. He's interviewed for the Seahawks offensive coordinator position a couple times already this offseason. So he's a guy that could, look elsewhere. I know the Lions are doing everything they can to keep that man in house. But if he's already taken a couple interviews, that tells me he's at least interested in what other teams have to say.
I saw somewhere that I think it might have been one of our beat writers. They mentioned that Nick Caley was his name was being tied to Glenn, but I also saw they also mentioned that like there's a possibility that the Lions I think would look into Caley.
Yeah. I think the Lions are. They said they're going to take their process pretty slowly here. They have, like I said, they have good internal candidates on both sides of the ball. It's no secret that Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson have been highly coveted for a couple of years now, so they've kind of been, thinking about this for a while. So I wouldn't put any candidate by them right now, even though I think they got some internal candidates that are likely to take over at least some of those positions.
Got it. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Jeremy, I got a few more before I let you go. And again, thanks for joining, man. We really appreciate this, man. It means a lot to the fans.
Yeah, no problem.
So I'm impressed that Aaron Glenn wanted to come here. I mean, people could say, oh, well, I don't think this was Glenn's only option. Do you?
No, I mean, I think the Saints were probably going to be ready to hire him too. Honestly, I know they had that snowstorm that kind of delayed things, but it obviously never even made it back there. New Orleans means a ton to Aaron Glenn. So even though you look at the salary cap situation there, the quarterback situation there, I think New Orleans was very, very high on his list. And I mean, listen, he interviewed either 5 or 6 places this year. So, and I don't think, all of those are Rooney rules. There probably was a Rooney rule or two in that mix. I would certainly think Vegas New England kind of felt like they were just kind of rushing through to get their guy. But no, he had legitimate interest because I think people saw the value, particularly with a guy like Dan Campbell of just getting one of those really, really strong leaders in the building and seeing what that can do for an entire culture of a team.
Jeremy, who could you see Glenn taking over here in New Jersey, New York?
Who could I see him bringing with him?
Yeah, like coach-wise or coach and then player-wise.
Oh, I'd have to check who's available out there for free agency. I haven't.
Well, Carlton Davis, isn't he a free agent? But if I'm the Jets, I would just bring back DJ Reed. But I know there's a relationship there. Oh, June, let me go here. Jeremy, you could tell June and I are like brothers. We fight all the time. Like somebody like I know Anzalone. He was a good player. He was, always that fringe player. Like that's what Anzalone reminds me of Jamie and Sherwood. Or Sherwood, is that a fair comparison? Sherwood to Anzalone? Or
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's tough because Anzalone, like him and Aaron Glenn, go way, 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 way back, and so I don't know if there's anyone on this earth that knows what Aaron Glenn wants more than Alex Anzalone. So there, I think you're right. Like you have to kind of start looking at that lineage of Saints and Lions players that might be good fits in New York. Carlton Davis is an interesting one because the Lions, they traded a third round pick for him last year, and I think generally you would think if you're trading a third round pick for a number one corner, the hope is to keep him around for more than 1 year. But he's probably going to demand a lot of money. And the Lions, they just signed 3 guys to mega deals in Goff and Panay and Amon-Ra. So, they don't have a ton of room. This year they do, but, if you're thinking multiple years down the line, they don't have a ton of room for big contracts other than the guys that they drafted. So Davis is an interesting one. He fits everything that the Lions want to a T. He's really good in man coverage, which get ready to play a ton of man coverage in New York because that's a staple of an Aaron Glenn defense. And he's gritty. He's a guy that is not afraid to get his nose dirty when it comes to the run game. So yeah, those are the kind of players that I think you should be looking for defensively. Is guys that are very physical in the way they play. In terms of coverage, you're looking for high man coverage guys. In terms of everyone else, linebackers, Aaron Glenn blitzes at a pretty dang high rate. So guys that are capable of pass rushing at every single level, including corners and safeties, those are the guys you guys should be looking for, both in free agency and the draft.
June, do you have anything else?
I'm just here loving everything he's saying right now. Because I mean, Jeremy, you're my brother. You're my brother. I appreciate this. You're proving my point in so many ways. You just don't understand right now.
And
Well,
yeah,
That's a
he didn't say Justin Fields, June.
yeah, Jeremy. We'll be talking about this talk with you for a little bit, June and I. But a couple more for me, and then again, thanks again, man. Really
yeah.
appreciate this.
Jeremy, you also a
So
Buckeyes guy?
I'm the opposite of a
I knew
Buckeyes
it. I knew it. That was. This was
guy.
a
the
rough
what?
week for
Wait,
you, man.
Michigan?
This was a
Yes,
rough
Yes,
week
sir.
for
yes.
Jeremy.
Yeah, it's been a
He
few.
got the
Yeah,
Lions elimination and the Buckeyes
yeah.
winning.
Hey, but we all know what happened when those two teams faced off earlier in the year.
We do.
Yeah, Jeremy. If you don't mind me asking, are you? How old are you? Because I'm part of a tradition football where I go to every single home game.
Yeah.
Did you make a lot of Thanksgiving games
Uh,
in your?
yes.
Okay,
100%. Yeah, I'm 38 years old, so I've been
okay.
going to some Lions games for quite some time, and now I just get to as part of the press, so it's pretty cool.
So you attended Thanksgiving regularly games?
Yep.
Wow, so that's a tradition. It's awesome, man. It's Jeremy, when you're not winning, you could explain as a fan, even though it's frustrating, you just hope it changes. But doesn't it drain you after a while, man? I know you're in the press now, but as a fan, can
Yeah.
you explain that feeling of because again, you're in a similar boat as the Jets were until a few years ago with Detroit losing so much.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely exhausting because the only thing you got is hope every single year, and then by the end of by November, usually all that hope is drained, and you're looking at mock drafts. And as someone who hates mock drafts, hates the off season, hates all that, like I love draft day, I hate the 3 months before the draft. It's terrible. I hate it. I hate it for any franchise that has to go through that. I hate it for you guys. I hate it for the Bengals when the Bengals were going through it. I hate it for all those teams because I know it is absolutely a wear on the fan base just to kind of continually try to believe in this team and believe that they're making the right moves and believe in the next head coach, believe in the next quarterback, believe in the next general manager, only to just continually, regularly lose. Listen, I survived 0-16. I feel like at some point you feel kind of invincible, like all right, nothing's gonna hurt me ever again, and then you get back to this level, and you're like, oh, this is what it feels like to blow a 17-point lead in the conference championship game. This feels entirely different and still terrible, but that's at the same time, like that's why we do this, right? Like football makes us feel these things. Nothing in the world makes me feel as frustrated or as excited as when this team succeeds and fails, and so it's all part of like the emotional contract that we give these teams. But yeah, I mean those lean years are tough, man. I'm I'll gladly take, losing as a 1 seed to a 5 seed in the playoffs over, just a hopeless feeling for 8 months out of the year.
So Jeremy, so let me ask you this question. Because you've seen it, you've seen where your team was trash one year, then you went to now the last trash year when you made the transition to a good team. Did you
Yeah.
did you keep everybody on the roster? I'm sure you didn't do that. I'm sure you.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
right. Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it's an entire different philosophy, right? It's not just, they're changing defensive schemes, they're changing offensive schemes. They're changing the culture, they're changing the identity, the character of the players that they want inside the building. All of that changes. Now, every coach wants, like, hey, give me the guy that eats, drinks, and sleeps football and
Right.
do this and do that. But the thing that I think that made the Lions a little bit unique is that they were pretty clean cut in terms of the guys they were adding. Like, any sort of red flags, it seemed like they'd be like, they're just not our guy. Like, they might be extremely talented, they might go on and win a bunch of football games and become all pros and maybe even Hall of Famers, but if they don't fit our culture, that's just not for us. And so
Right.
they pass on a guy like Micah Parsons, right? There were some red flags in his college career. He went on to have a great career and probably a Hall of Famer, but wasn't who the Lions wanted. Jalen Carter, another one that the Lions had an opportunity for, passed on him. Really talented guy, wasn't the guy that they wanted. And I pick out two examples of guys that worked out, but there are a million other examples of guys with
Yeah.
character flaws
Like
that play out and don't make it. And by the
like
Lions prioritizing those guys that are high character guys that don't have those marks on their record, they've gotten pretty far. And really, the only counter example that I can think of that the Lions have gone against this, at least in any sort of way, is Jamison Williams. And we've kind of seen how that played out, right? Like, he's been suspended twice, and
right.
now he's kind of coming into his own. And I do think he's a good kid for what it's worth. Not that this is about Jamison Williams, but
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
but it kind of goes to show you is like the one time they kind of slipped and maybe where they gave a little of, okay, there are some red flags here, but we think he's a good talent. They kind of got burned by it a little bit.
Jeremy,
Wait,
go
one
ahead, Jim.
last thing, Pete. See, I like what you said about even if they're all pro or not, because in my eyes, even if you're a two-time all pro, if you don't fit what we're trying to do here, you're out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, Pete. I'm sorry.
Oh gosh, I'll get to June later. Jeremy, if you were the GM, would you give Jameis Williams the 5th-year option?
That's a good question because it is, obviously one of those decisions they're going to have to make this offseason,
Correct.
along with Aiden Hutchinson. I think that decision might be a little bit easier. I think maybe you do give him the 5th-year option, and then you might have to just let him play that out. I think it's tough to make a decision on him considering he's only really played one full season and he just got over 1,000 yards. But the Lions are, I mean, the crazy thing about the Lions is they not only do they have those 3 big extensions that they made last offseason, you look at the 2024 draft, and they're probably going to want to extend all of those guys. You got Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch, and Sam Laporta. All 4 of those guys in the first 2 rounds of that draft. You're going to have to make room for those guys as well. And so at some point, you're going to have to make some concessions here. And I'm just kind of the belief that speed is replaceable when it comes to wide receivers. And so I think you extend him 1 more year to get 1 more year out of that rookie contract, even though a 5th-year option is going to be relatively expensive. I just don't see how you can commit to a long-term deal with Jamison Williams yet. If he goes on and balls out in year 4 and balls out on that 5th-year option, then you have discussions. But at this point, I think like you kind of have to do a half measure here and be like, we want him around for all 5 years, but we're not sure about anything beyond that yet. And so I think I would give them the 5th-year option, but it's a difficult decision, no doubt.
Yeah, and Jeremy, are you going down to Mobile for the Senior Bowl?
I'm not. I went down there once when the Lions were coaching it, but as of a week ago, I wasn't sure if I was going to be in the midst of a playoff race here,
Right.
preparing for the Super Bowl. So I didn't book my tickets down there. I didn't bother getting credentialed, but I'll be down there for the NFL Combine this year. It'll be my first Combine.
Yeah, Jeremy, maybe we'll have you back on then. But if that's
Sure.
all right, that really appreciate it, man, and great stuff. And keep up the great work, man. You know, you're a class act on here. We really appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate
Jeremy,
you,
can you
brother.
just give your final quick thoughts on Aaron Glenn?
Yeah, I mean, as hopefully I've reiterated this entire time, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Aaron Glenn. I remember the first couple of years he was in Detroit. I just like sometimes I'd find myself kind of just like in a daze listening to him every week when he does his press conferences, because I feel like I learned something about football every time he talked. He just, the way he carries himself is almost hypnotic in listening to him talk at times. And you know, I know for certain that Jets fans have nothing to worry about when it comes to building a culture. I think he's as close to a Dan Campbell hire as you're going to get in that aspect, in that you're getting a guy who is extremely authentic at all times, a guy that is going to immediately command the respect of that locker room. And you know, if there are questions to be had about the hire, I think it's on the offensive side of the ball. But if again, like if he can flex his muscle like Dan Campbell can in terms of delegating and finding talented coaches in this league, the Jets should be all right. But I would preach patience, because I do think this might be a little bit of an unearthing process where you're building from the foundation up. But again, I think if that's the path the Jets are taking, I think they made a great hire.
So you can see Sauce Gardner returning to all pro form under Aaron Glenn. Could you see that? This is a shot at June, by the way.
Listen, I think if Sauce is willing to learn, he's got the best person to learn under.
And he's from Detroit, Sauce. So
Yes.
you saw it. Did you see him play a lot? You know, in high school, or I don't know if you went to watch him, Jeremy. But...
Yeah, no, I didn't. I mean, I heard of him while he was here, but I never went and watched him personally. No.
Okay.
Hey, Jeremy, can you do me a favor? Can you get in touch with the Lions front office and ask them if they're willing to give me a first and a third for Sauce, please?
I can pretty much guarantee they aren't going to do that.
Yeah, so would I. Jeremy, again, thanks, man. We can find you on here. Do you do anything on YouTube?
Pride of Detroit has a YouTube and a Twitch page. We live stream our podcasts, which run 3 times a week during the season, once or twice a week during the off season. So yeah, if you want to hear us talk more about Aaron Glenn, we'll be chatting it up probably Monday night. This upcoming on our YouTube and Twitch pages. Just search Pride of Detroit for all of our content there. And I want to give you guys props too. It's been really fun, honestly, on this show and the one on Wednesday. Just listening to Jets fans and all your guys' opinions. It's a really, really passionate fan base. Really reminds me a lot of Lions fans too. And I am really excited, and I'll be rooting for Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
As I said on Wednesday, I'll be rooting a little bit harder once Aaron Rodgers is out of the building.
Can I do one more?
I am rooting for y'all.
Can I do one more, Pete?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And I don't know if you want to comment on this, but I actually was following last night, you reporting it. What Schultz did and then deleted it, and I know, and you're a reporter. Like, what any feelings on that stuff?
I don't like it when someone just deletes when they make a mistake.
Yeah.
I feel like you got to own up to it. I feel you got to be like, sorry, got my wire. Like, even just saying like, hey, I made a mistake. Like, I have so much more respect for someone who will admit a mistake rather than just hide a mistake, because it happens, right? Like you read a text wrong, or you have a source that you think is solid and isn't. You can't always be 100%. And to me, in this business, there's nothing more important. There's no bigger currency as a writer or reporter than trust. And to me, if you lose it once, a lot of times you're never going to get it back, ever. And so to own up to a mistake, that's the best first step in doing that. So I'm a little disappointed in Schultz for not making a mistake, but just not owning up to it.
In compliment, I put you on my alerts, and I thought Liam was heading back to Tampa, and then all of a sudden I started getting your alerts about, and you showed the split screen between Rossini and Schultz, and I was like, I don't even understand what's going on. And then I started following, and I was like, damn, Schultz just deleted it?
Yeah. Yeah. In case you don't know what we're talking about, it was in regards to Robert Saleh, because Schultz reported originally that he had flown to Jacksonville to interview for that job, and it just landed, where basically everyone else was like, no, he never left. He was waiting in New Jersey just to wait to see how that whole situation plays out. And it turns out, I guess, he did never get aboard that flight. So
yeah, that's pretty wild what happened, Jeremy.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that, but it really reminds me of, NFL free agency. You have that tampering period where sometimes a player agrees to terms, and then 2 days later, like, nope, I'm actually coming back to the original team.
The Jets had two from your hated rival Minnesota, I believe, Anthony
That's
Barr
right.
and Antoine Winfield.
That's right.
And we had Bill Belichick do it to us in the worst way.
Did it on a napkin.
Yeah.
So Jeremy, real quick, we're on YouTube Live. We stream the space from here to YouTube, so we may come up with a couple of shorts with you on if you don't mind.
Oh, not at all. Just tag me in them too.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Jeremy,
Hey,
T, give me a sec. Jeremy, thanks again, man. I'll be in touch, and all the best, brother.
All right, appreciate you all.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks. Jeremy Reisman, great interview. Thanks, guys. June, I see what you were doing there. I didn't fall for your bait.
Yo.
June, you know what I'm gonna buy? You know what I'm gonna buy you for Christmas next year or your birthday? I'm gonna buy you a fishing pole.
But look, no, buy me some.
I'm not gonna lie, June. If that nigga Petey say he gonna get you something, boy, he ain't lying. That's all I'm gonna say. That boy Petey say he gonna get you a gift. He ain't lying. That's all I'm gonna say.
T, you the cousin at the cookout that they try to keep in the back room. Look, Petey, if you gonna buy me some gas so I can drive Sauce to the airport and get him the fuck up out of here, bro. Please.
Man, you want me to get you a gift card? I could get you a digital gift card. I like to be more personable.
PD. I got more news for Jets fans.
What's up, T?
Y'all are in conversations with my god brother too. It sounds like y'all want a real DB. Oh Lord.
No, so you got
Happy
a god
days.
brother, and then you got a cousin as a
Y'all
running
want
back.
the god brother.
What is a god brother?
T.
Derek Canteen. Hey, look, happy days are headed for New York. That's all I gotta say. Oh, hey, Monte. I know that ain't Matthew Stafford merchant over there. Hey.
Yeah, Monty.
Enjoy Cancun.
I heard Monty deleted his Twitter, but he's back.
I don't
Good,
know what
Monty.
he did.
Nah, Monty.
All I know is
I love Monty.
what he
He's
said didn't come true. I respect my old heads. My old heads give me a lot of knowledge, but he wasn't right about my goddamn Eagles.
All right.
Hey, Monty, I sent you a mic, man. Take it.
Yeah, if he wants. June, I'm gonna close in a few. Next week, guys, we got some guests lined up. I'll probably have Zach Rosenblatt from The Athletic, for sure. So make sure you tune in. Monday will be a review of the weekend. Big weekend. Only 2 weeks left of football, which is sad, but we'll be doing this all off season.
So P, are we gonna revisit what Jeremy was talking about?
I'm gonna save it for Monday, June.
I know you do.
Because I don't have the energy right now.
I know you don't. I know you
And
don't.
I need to take a couple of deep breaths with you.
I know.
Because your buddy Tear It Down is right next to you in
Yes, he
Jericho.
is, yeah.
So
that's the secret weapon of the Team 34.
Why can't it be us?
Why can't we
you know
compete?
what? I should play Wu-Tang song. Can it be that it was all so simple?
But it's not, and you gotta go ahead and tear it down.
I gotta watch out for trademarks on this.
Peter getting ready for the press conference.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's 1:00 on Monday. I'm trying to get there, man.
PD, one
I'll
day,
be
man, you're gonna
watching.
one day you will cross that side, man. I'm already feeling it. Every day you're just slipping and slipping.
Yeah,
Well, I
do you
believe
hear
it.
him? Do you hear?
He's slipping.
But
He's slipping every day.
Jeremy,
It's an
Every day it's getting
entanglement.
worse for him.
Jeremy
Should
just
I,
told you.
Jarek? How about should I play "I'm Feeling It" with Jay-Z?
Yes.
June, we'll know if Petey lost it when we see him out there with a Buffalo headband on. We'll say that's it.
You go to
We're to
anybody,
the
just
other
don't go to
side.
Buffalo, brother, please.
Well, the question is, what color headband should the Buffalo Bills headband be? White, blue, or red? Jarek.
Just as long as it has an L on it after this week, I'm good.
Jarek, what's your favorite go-to color for the Bills, for real?
Blue.
Yeah.
Always got to be the blue.
Yeah, June, I'm going to shut down, all right? I got a few things going on. All right, Buckeye, thanks. Jeremy, I know he's not in here, but great job by him. Rusty's in here. Rock, Matty Ice, Hexagon, Curtis Lee, my man Bill Fawn,
Justin
Mickey,
Bing, Jerry,
Vice
of course,
Rosa,
my right hand,
Neek, what up? Mike Ferreira, Mills.
Uncle
Good luck
Monty.
this weekend.
June, you going to be on later?
Yes, sir.
Is there a
All right.
layover if there's no afternoon flights?
It's gonna be a layover or afternoon flight, one of them,
All right.
About what time? Any idea?
around 3 o'clock.
Gotcha.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Yoshi, I see you. What up, Yoshi?
Have a great
Ben,
weekend, Petey.
Monty, have a good weekend, guys. Be well.
See you,
Wait,
Pete.
ho! Why you always try to?
Hurry up.
Why you always try to close the door before me and Jerry do what we do? Jerry,
As always, in a few months, you will have no choice
but to
but to
tear it
tear it down.
down.
Goodbye, guys.